Alright guys, so I want to make a quick kind of first impressions. It's definitely not a review, I've only been carrying it for a few weeks, of the Guardian Tactical Recon 40, right? First let me actuate it a few times so people don't bitch at me that I went 2 minutes into the video without actuating it. There you go. Ooh, look at that. A lot of snaps back and forth. Alright, now that you guys are happy, let's get into it. So, I've had this for a few weeks. I am the second owner of it. The first owner was actually the man himself, Captain Dave, who many of you will know, especially if you're digging through looking for content about the recons and stuff like that. You'll run across his videos, and let me tell you, we had about, I want to say just shy of an hour, probably about 55-minute conversation on the phone one day after work when I was in the process of buying this. And he's the real deal, guys. He's just such a legit, nice guy. So, go check out his channel, Captain Dave. Now, I've been carrying this for a few weeks. I did have one early on issue with it, which I will touch on in another video. But I contacted customer support. I emailed them on a Sunday, midday. And I got a response email by mid-morning on Monday. I've never had an experience like that in my life for any product, like not just in knives, any product whatsoever, guys. So, like I said, customer service, top notch. I'm going to make a video specifically about that problem and how they were able to walk me through fixing it myself, and it's been perfect. Now, what do I like about this knife and what do I dislike about this knife? What do I dislike? Almost nothing so far. I dislike that when I got it, I had to make that small adjustment. But that being said, it's very much a tunable experience as far as, so what was happening basically was it always launched fine, but when I would retract it, maybe every 4 to 10 retractions, it would get off track. I learned that's because there's a leaf spring on each side that you can adjust to adjust those catches. So it wasn't really even like a manufacturing issue. It just was kind of like a fine-tuning process that you can do yourself. That was really easy to do. So I would have liked to not have had to do that. But that being said, it's fine. It was not a big deal. It was 10 minutes total. Now, what do I like about it? This is going to be the bulk of the video. So first off, this is by far head and shoulders like the best, most ergonomic knife for me, David Rivera, personally, that I've ever handled. Now, why do I say that? I have large hands, right? If you use surgical gloves or like, those gloves you get at the doctor's office or anything like that, the extra large fits my hand perfectly. So that tells you my hand size, right? So for me, I like large knives because they fit my hands really well. And this one's perfect. When I pull it out of the pocket, my hand kind of lands like around here. I can actuate it perfect from there without a second thought, right? That being said, there are a lot of other things that go into that, like the glass breaker. I don't see having a use for a glass breaker, but why not put it there? That being said, it gives you a little meat to pull on. Oops, pulling it out of your pocket, which is nice. But on top of that, there's basically 3 amazing grips I can have on this. So first off, when I'm grabbing here, kind of at the bottom, can actuate everything just fine, and my finger can kind of rest there, and it's a really good solid grip. Now I can move up a little bit and have my finger here in that first kind of finger choil area, and my thumb here, and that is also a great, amazing grip. This is actually kind of where I grab the most. Now, if I'm processing cardboard or something like that, the thought that went into the shape of the button is just so great. Because when both my fingers are in the choil here, you see this? How it just naturally, you can see where my thumb wants to rest because it's just formed perfectly to my thumb. I love that. It just makes it so comfortable to be able to bear down and put some weight into the cut comfortably. And I brought some knives to compare that to, right? So a knife that does that terribly, but I love the knife, right? The Lightning OTF. I am a huge fan of this knife. If you want to buy an OTF that will last you forever, that will function great, and you want to spend like $30 to do it, get a Lightning. I could have never upgraded from this and been totally happy, but I wanted to, so I did. That being said, This is basically the only grip you have, not just because of the size of the knife and me having large hands, but because of the way that this button is shaped. This is just so, it just basically, it's almost like a stop, like a homeless spike on a park bench to get you to bear up on the knife, or I could go all the way up here, but there's nothing really stopping my finger from sliding up on the blade, so I don't want to do that. So this is basically all you got. So before the Recon, to me, the most comfortable knife that I ever had for like doing like a lot of processing, cardboard, things like that was the Buck 110, right? Because it's fat, you got not to grip here from my thumb here. But that being said, I would still get a little, you know, it could be better. And I didn't know it could be better, but it could be because it's flat going up there. See that little gap in the thumb? The button just fills that gap so perfectly. Like they could, if I custom made a knife to my hand, it would be this. There would be no difference. It is just so incredibly thought through, and it shows. And that is what you get for a $400 knife versus a $30 knife. Both of them will cut open your packages, but this one will just feel and look and function on a higher level while doing it. So, that being said, works flawlessly every time I need it. Incredibly sharp. So I'm the second owner, right? And Dave said he kept the factory edge on it, and the factory edge is still like a laser beam. I don't even have to put pressure into the cuts. It just slices straight through everything. And that's partially because of how they designed the blade, which has 3 super, super good things about it. First of all, it's not double edge, which I'm sure you could take this and sharpen it up. I'm not going to. I just don't have the desire to do that, but I'm sure you could to have a double-edged knife. But like I said, this here, beautiful, thick stock. That just is great for the thumb. But it goes all the way back here. The reason I'm happy it's not a dagger blade is exactly that. Because I have all the way from here through this hollow grind for the blade to thin out to a nice, super slicey edge. But at the top here, if you look, if you use this in a self-defense context, which, you know, did I buy it to be a self-defense weapon? No. But I also don't buy screwdrivers to be self-defense weapons, but if that's all I have, I will stab someone with it, right? So that being said, if you just look at this and it was all black, what does that look like to you? A dagger blade. If you just move this tip over like a millimeter, it's a dagger blade, right? And I love that because I still have my nice long single edge. I can still put my thumb on the back here to put extra push into the cuts for practical tasks. But in self-defense, in my opinion, this is just as good as a dagger blade because of that shape. And again, just so much thought went into that. And now just a final thing. I don't want to drag on, you know, about it too much. But one thing with the Boker Kalashnikov series, which I love and I have too many of, as you can see by this customized one. McLovin, don't play no shit, if you get that reference comment. And my donut one, I've always been in the middle, right? This one is just too big for my hands to the point where when I draw it from my pocket, my thumb lands here. I have to do this like little wiggle up the knife to actually actuate the button. Now I do not have that problem with this one, but it is just so darn small, right? If I let my thumb right up, it's almost the entire blade. I don't like it. It's just small for my taste. I like large knives that just suit my hands well, right? So this one, the Recon 40, the larger one, is just that perfect middle ground. Like I said, if you made a knife for David, this would be it. It is just the perfect middle ground. Let me try to level these handles out with each other. As you can see, it's just that right in between size that I would want. You know, if Boker made a size in between, I probably never would have bought this knife because it's the perfect exact size that I wanted. And, you know, since it's an OTF, it can never fold on my hand. It can never, you know, if it fails, all that happens is I no longer have this knife. There's no chance of folding into my fingers or something, which is why I now almost exclusively carry OTFs. So, guys, that to say, that is a quick first kind of just overview of the Guardian Tactical 40. I'm going to do a proper review in like a year after carrying it for a very long time and getting to know it better. But so far, I could not be happier with it or more pleased. They make an amazing product that is worth the money.